Welcome in to the latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Mike Brett. I go by SEC Mike on Twitter, and I'm joined as always by my cousin Shane, who goes by Big Orange Balls on Twitter. What are you up to, you big Tennessee homer?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh man, it's just an honor to have you on the show in video. We screwed it up the first try. I knew that was going to happen. But
let's see how long this one lasts, you know? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I almost went somewhere, and I'm like, oh, yeah. My mom may be listening. All right. The video didn't last long. So
it didn't last long. Hey, we are a work in progress, Shane. And speaking of a work in progress, don't forget this Friday, first time. This will probably go wrong too, Shane, but we got a Twitter Spaces lined up. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central tonight. We're going to try to start doing this every week during the season, trying to get you guys another little bit of content. And if you're new to the Spaces, if you don't understand it, all it is you jump on the Twitter machine and you can interact with us. You can talk with us. You can ask us questions. So, I think it's going to be a fun time for everybody.
No, I think it will be, and a lot of engagement already online. Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I just it's something different. I probably should let my wife know I can't do anything Friday night because trying to explain to her what Twitter Spaces is, she'd say, "What is it next, honey?" I mean, even this right here, Mike. We've been podding for a long, long time, but this is the first time I've ever checked my teeth before I got on the air with you. It's the first time. I even got a lint roller on my blue shirt here, so I'd make sure I got any of them dog hairs off of me. But I've never done so much grooming for a podcast, so I'm pumped up for the next chapter. The Spaces is going to be awesome. We're going to have fun on there. That's it. It's not going to be formal. It's just going to be a lot of Q&As and cutting jokes, drinking beer, having fun, just shit talking. I mean, let's be honest, Mike. We're going to talk about the games coming up. I'm going to tell you how right I am. You're going to tell me how wrong I am. It's going to be fun. So, jump on there. And if you don't have the Twitters, don't worry. Mike is going to try to figure out a way to record these things so we can get them online to you. So if you got your Apple or Android product, you'll be able to enjoy it with the rest of us.
Yeah, no doubt, Shane. And, hey, we got a lot to cover, so let's just get back into the action, Shane. And before we go around the league, just want to make this little note. We all know you're the Tennessee homer, so I wanted to get your thoughts on it, Shane. Tennessee breaking out the Smokey Greys. They announced that here on Thursday. That's official. They're going to be bringing it back for at least one game the next 4 seasons. They just announced. They haven't announced the game yet. I got a good feeling, Shane, it's going to be that Florida game. What are your thoughts on the Smokey Greys making a comeback?
I can hear them old farts right now. They thought they got rid of that uniform, and they're coming back. Hey, I like the Smokey Greys. I think anything that can help recruit. Now, I know it sounds stupid. You think uniforms don't help, but you look at all the stuff we send out. How many of them has Smokey Greys in them? So we have to air them out at least once a year, I would think. So I like it, man. I get the traditionalist side, hey, don't fix it if it's not broke. But, buddy, I mean, have you watched Tennessee football lately? I mean, it's broke. We need something. And we got it with Heupel. We got it with this fun, high-flying offense. Yeah. Why not just try something different, get these kids excited? Because I'm telling you, man, they're all watching. These recruits are out there watching. That's why they're landing them, because it's a fun place to play. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, one of the top comments, Shane, when this news broke, I saw was, "I don't like it. Want to beat Florida in them orange and whites." And I'm sitting here saying, hey, you're counting that as a W already. How many times have you seen Tennessee beat Florida in them orange and whites? I mean, come on now. This is about fun. This is about excitement, and anything you can do to bring a little bit extra energy and buzz to Neyland Stadium week 4 of the season. And again, it's not officially Florida, but I think it will be the Florida game.
Yeah, that tweet was probably sent 7 in the morning. Some old man just finished his coffee,
Well, Shane, sticking in the state of Tennessee, we haven't been able to talk much Vanderbilt football. I got to be honest with you guys. It's very, very difficult to dig up clips. They don't share them. The school doesn't share them. There's no official Vanderbilt video getting sent my way. So, hey, we do with what we can. And I hate to even go this route, Shane, because we're starting negative here. But, man, some rough news for the Commodores. One of their emerging players, redshirt freshman Miles Capers, was basically locked up a starting position, was going to be one of their star pass rushers, out for the season with a knee injury. God, I mean, this is the one team in the SEC that can't afford any injuries. You know what?
That's it, Mike. If Coach Lee and Vanderbilt are going to surprise any teams in the SEC or be competitive or potentially make a bowl game, they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play perfect football, and to do that, they're going to need everybody. So, any injury like this is definitely going to hurt them.
Yeah, and I know, Shay, we've made this point time and time again, but I think it needs to be emphasized that they need to increase their commitment to football, and no better example than this, Shane. They just had their second scrimmage, and from what I understand, it was a great scrimmage, went well. We got some comments from Clark Lee in here in just a second, but the first scrimmage, Shane, because they're doing some renovations there to the stadium, they were not able to do it at the stadium. They had to bus to a local high school, and then once they got to the high school, it started storming and lightning, so they got about 20 snaps in, and they had to call it a scrimmage. And I don't say that to mock Vanderbilt, but I sit here and say, what the hell are we doing? This is the team that needs practice and scrimmages more than any others, yet they're having to put up with all this BS. Like, they don't even have the facilities there to have a full camp. And it just, I think if you're a Vanderbilt fan, it's got to be soul-crushing to hear stuff like that. But that's why they've got to invest in Clark Lee in this program and build him what he needs so we don't have these damn issues. You know what?
Gee, that's crazy to me, man. I mean, this is 2022. This is the best conference in the country, and you're a part of it. So act like you're a part of it. Not just take the check when it's sent out on Fridays. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is a university that has all the potential in the world to be a fun place to play. I'm not expecting to win national championships anytime soon, but man, I tell you, if they ever did take it serious, Vanderbilt is a scary, scary little opponent because of the location. There's not a better city in I think, of the country to play in than in Nashville, because it has everything, and they don't use it. And it seems like we've said this a million times, Mike, and we're going to say it a million times more. This is just another example. I mean, how many freaking engineers you got over at Vanderbilt? They can whip up some shed where these boys can play and get out of the rain, you would think. I mean, is it that hard? I don't know. We got high schools doing it. There's high schools that have indoor facilities, and one of the 14 SEC teams does not. I mean, put it on a banner, man. Yeah,
it's got to change. It's got to change now, Shane. But hey, let's be a little bit more positive here with the Commodores. We do got, Mike Wright. They came out and named him the starting quarterback at media days. But Clark Lee, kind of made it clear here, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to start against Hawaii, but it certainly sounds like he's on track to do that, give them a little bit of continuity going into the season opener. Heck, we're a week away from Vanderbilt kicking off, so let's kick it over to Clark Lee.
To you, ahead of the Hawaii game, I guess technically you didn't name Mike the starter for the opener. Are you going to name a starter, or is it just how are you going to handle it?
Yeah, we will. I mean, right now he is our starter, and that hasn't changed. I think we withhold the ability to continue to evaluate all positions. That one gets the most attention, and rightfully so. And I think performance at that position is going to be critical to our success this year. So. We're going to keep looking at it, and I'm going to lean on Joey to kind of have his opinion and what he feels like is best for us. Right now, I think all three guys are competing, and I say all three. I think AJ Swan's had a really nice camp, and iron sharpens iron. Those guys are going to keep at it, but like I said, I was pleased today that I felt like the offense was clicking with all three. And that was positive.
All right, okay. Hey Shay, can you believe it though? I mean, the last thing on Vanderbilt here, we are officially 8 days away from seeing some SEC football. How awesome is that?
Dude, it's great, man. I I've talked more about Vanderbilt this offseason just because it's kicking off in Hawaii.
Right.
So I think that was the smartest move that they've made.
Yeah.
And they should be seeking out week 0 action here because that's the first glimpse of college football that we're going to get. And we were talking to one of our partners today about this being the last college-free weekend, so think about that. This time next week, we're talking about actual game scripts. We're talking actual depth charts, and we're doing our lines, man, for the first time. So if that doesn't get you excited about Vanderbilt football, nothing will, brother.
Yeah, I feel bad for my liver. You know what?
I know, man. I need to get some more beer because it's going to be a while, and it's going to be a late one, man. It's going to be an absolute late game, but I don't care. They can play at 3 a.m. I'm going to sit up like a kid at Christmas Eve,
But all right, Shay, moving on. Let's jump all down to Tuscaloosa, where they are wrapping up training camp here with the defending SEC champions. And some interesting comments here from old Nick Saban, Shane. I mean, he seems uber confident. He seems like he's challenging his players like he always does.
Yeah.
He's challenged his receivers earlier in camp. It sounds like that group is starting to come together a little bit. Continues to kind of harp on Eli Ricks, maybe not quite living up to the hype. I think that's very interesting. And I just love this. Anytime Nick Saban kind of takes down the shields a little bit and lets us in on a little bit of his personality, talks about his radio show. And I just thought this was some of the best comments we've seen from Nick Saban here in a little while. So let's kick it over to him.
So it's like, what are you willing to do for the people around you? Because you're responsible to do your job, but you're also responsible for them. But I guess a better question is what are they willing to do for you? All right? Because they have the kind of respect and trust in you to know that you're going to go out there and do what you're supposed to do, down in, down out, play in, play out, game in, game out. So we obviously have things that we need to improve on. The big focus this week is take where we were last week, from a scrimmage standpoint, from a conditioning standpoint, from a focus standpoint, from an effort, ability to execute standpoint, and try to improve on it so that, this next scrimmage is sort of the last dress rehearsal, so to speak, until the first game comes. So it's really important that we can go out there and sort of do the things that we need to do more game-like, because that's going to be the last time we get an opportunity to do at least that part of it. So not disappointed in where we are at all, not satisfied where we are either, but think that people are trying to do the things they need to do to get where we want to go.
How much progress have you seen in Eli Ricks' ability to pick up the defense, and then how optimistic are you that he could be an impact player this year?
Well, he hasn't been able to practice since the scrimmage, so he's got a little, back problem that's not, I don't think it's anything that's going to keep him out for a long time. So, until he gets out there on the field and he continue to make progress, I can't really comment on that. I was not disappointed in the way he played in the scrimmage. I think there's a lot of competition at that position, and I can't tell you, who would be the starting corners at this point.
Hey, Nick, got kind of a offbeat question for a feature on Coach's radio call-in shows. You're one of a dwindling few that still takes calls. I was just curious why get out of it, why you think it's important to do that, and also I guess you may be the only one I know that has regular media guest hosts. Why do you do that too?
Well, I think that most of you all, including the person asking the question, sort of think I'm not approachable, and I don't think that's the case at all. So one of the things that I've always found the radio show to give me an opportunity to do is to allow people to approach me and see how approachable I am. So we let people at the venue ask questions. We let call-in people ask questions. I think it's a good thing for me to, see some of the media people that are actually host on the show I get to know them a little bit better. They see a little different side of me. I see a little different side of them. So I think it's nothing but, sort of an opportunity to build positive relationships. And, sometimes you get a bad call, but sometimes we deserve a bad call. I mean, sometimes I don't think we did very well either. So why should somebody out there not think we did something very well? So I'm not offended by people who call in. I think it's an opportunity for them to approach me and me to have respect for them and how they support the program.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
That's it?
That's it.
So I get to say thank you and smile again?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
And Shane, so I really, there's a lot to unpack here in these comments from Saban, but the part I really wanted to focus on is Eli Ricks. Yeah. And when they added him, we all know the story, freshman All-American, one of LSU's best players, but there was always kind of a lack of commitment, so to speak, from Eli Ricks and LSU. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember this, Shane, but there was buzz he was going to transfer to Southern Cal. And, of course, that didn't happen. He came back, and, he was kind of in and out of the lineup. He's in and out of being injured. Now it sounds like he's injured here at Alabama. And you may say, if you're an Alabama fan, you may look at that as a negative that Eli Ricks may not be a lockdown starter. It may not be an all-conference player. Basically, he may not be living up to the hype, but I think that's a great thing for Alabama, because the way I read this, Shane, is they got this guy coming in that's got all this hype and all this attention. We all get consumed with the transfers, but if you are not buying into a winning culture, if you are not buying into the Alabama standard, Nick Saban's going to sit your ass on the bench and have no qualms of doing it, because they got 85 other guys that are locked in and doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And I think a guy like Eli Ricks needs to be challenged like this. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
No, I sometimes, man, these boys that come in just like they're there, like they've already made it. They've already, they're already a team captain in their mind. They're already thinking about NFL.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's the situation here, but sometimes, and that's one thing I like about Nick is the tough love he's willing to deliver. Mm-hmm. If he feels like you are not playing up to your potential, he's the first one to hold your feet to the fire. And if it causes you to sit them out, you sit them out, because when they come in, when they realize that opportunity can easily be taken away, then you're going to get more out of them. Some kids just need it. It's, I raised two girls, man, and they're totally different. So one, you raise it, it's more nurture, you got to be there. A lot of emotion, trust me. That's why I'm bald, Mike. But the other one was more of just you got to tell them what to do, and that's what they needed. So I didn't know if you came on this podcast for parenting advice, but that's kind of what Nick is doing here. Nick is being a father, and he's saying, hey, son, you ain't getting it, so we got to get you right. And that's kind of what I feel like's happening here.
Right. Yeah, we love Coach O to death. The 2019 LSU team, maybe the greatest team of all time, but obviously there's a difference between Alabama, the consistency, and the damn roller coaster they experienced in Death Valley. I think players thrive on the message down there at Alabama, and that's why they've been so damn good for so damn long.
Coach O's like them dads that disappear for like 4 or 5 years, and then they're tired of paying child support, so they act fun while they come over. You know what I'm saying? It's like letting them drink at 16 and stuff. That's kind of what I get. That's the vibe I pick up from Coach O. Nick Saban, like I said, he's going to hold your feet to the fire. Your ass better be home at curfew. But Coach O, we're going to have some fun, man.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Shane, let's move it on down to Fayetteville, where we got Barry Odom. Rare appearance. He only speaks to the media about once a year, being on Sam Pittman's staff, obviously, the great defensive coordinator, and has been so key to the Arkansas Razorbacks in their success over the seasons. I thought Razorback fans would really appreciate his comments. I mean, he's echoing the same things we keep saying, Shane. These receivers are standing out. Matt Landers, he named specifically. Jadon Hazelwood, Warren Thompson. So that's great to hear. And I know we all get enamored with Bumper Pool, maybe the best name in all of college football. But Drew Sanders, the Alabama transfer who's locked down the other starting spot, I mean, he may be the best linebacker on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Barry Odom loves him some Drew Sanders. And I thought these were some interesting comments because he referenced time and time again, my third year in the program and all this, why that means something special to him and why that is such an advantage and why this could be the best Razorback defense yet we've seen under Barry Odom.
Player, every wide receiver. But I'm wondering if you could tell me one or two guys that are maybe extremely difficult for you guys to handle, that are really jumping out to you.
Well, I said earlier, I think Coach Guyton and Coach Prowse has done a great job developing that group. Every day I feel like there's another guy that kind of develops and emerges a little bit, just from either how they're running a route or making a play, making a clutch catch. Landers continues to impress. Not only has he got top end speed, his catch radius is, you get it close to him and he's got, he's tall and long and can make plays. 9 and 84 continue to make plays and I also noticed, bless you, that those guys blocking, like today, I don't know if y'all were out there or not, for when we started to line up when perimeter drills. So it's all outside, plays, and it's one-on-one blocking, wide receivers, defensive backs. That's an attitude. And, I look at the way that those guys are competing in that, that's that group they've made us better for sure.
Question. I know Drew Sanders has moved inside and you were a linebacker. So how hard is it for a linebacker to actually make that move and what allows Drew in particular to do that?
Yeah, I think Drew's got a terrific skill set. He's tall and he's smart and can run. He's got great instincts and he's quick. Some of the qualities that I never had as a player, but he's determined and he's a fierce competitor. So you throw all those things in and he wants to be great. And I think he's got a really good coach in Mike Shear. So those combinations usually make up a pretty good player. And Drew continues every day to make progress and key reads. And it's hard. I mean, there's a lot of moving things going on and your eyes got to be right. And especially in this system, we're counting on those guys to make a ton of tackles. And if your eyes are wrong, your on snap footwork, and the discipline that it takes every play to do that, then we're not going to be as good on defense. So we're counting on him a lot and that group to continue to elevate their game. Accomplished here, and I'm honored and privileged and excited to have a chance to be here year 3 working with Coach Pittman and for him.
3 a few times. I mean, how much does that go into your consideration? The fact that you
Say it again, I'm sorry.
You mentioned it being your third year
Yeah.
a few times you've been here. Just being familiar with your personnel. And,
Absolutely.
And, I mean, how big is that to you?
I feel indebted to my players. I mean, I feel responsible for their development. I feel responsible for them to graduate from college and to give them a consistent driving force on what a mentor is supposed to be. And I like coaching them. They like to practice. They want to be great, and there may be a time that something happens that you can't say no to, but I'm not going out and searching for it. I really like where we are, and I like my players. I can't wait for 2:15, and we get a chance to see them again. And this is. You talk about being a coach and a teacher and an educator. It's not just about football. It's about life lessons, it's about the opportunity to make an impact on young men from the age of when you start recruiting them until they graduate, and then hopefully you turn that into the next 40 years of their life. And it can be one of the most rewarding things when done the right way. It can be one of the most rewarding things that a player or a coach has a chance to. The opportunities. I talk to our guys all the time about opportunities. We're creating opportunities every day. We're creating with football. We're creating with life, student athletes, the experience on the college level. I'm in a really good spot, and that means something to me. I feel really, really strongly about the University of Arkansas and our football program.
So how about it, Shay? I mean, how interesting is it that it doesn't seem to matter what coach or what player or any the message out of Fayetteville is, damn, we got us some receivers. And all off season we were sitting here saying, well, my God, receiver, that's a real issue for Arkansas. Yet that seems like almost, I don't want to say the strongest position group on the team, but no one is signaling that as any type of weakness here. That's got to fire you up.
Man, this guy can catch anything. He's going to come out. I'm going to be looking for a 10-foot wide receiver by the time he gets out here with 3 arms, just anything and everything that gets near this kid. He is a ball magnet. So, I don't know. I love that. I love that you're hearing it from a defensive guy.
Right.
Because here's a defensive guy trying to slow this one down, So right. I think that's a telltale sign he didn't miss a beat. So that means that, because everybody's wondering, what's that wide receiver room going to look like? I mean, we're hearing all the praise and we're hearing the accolades and we're hearing all the we can look at 24/7 and see how good they are, but how good are they with KJ and how good are they going to be under the lights together as a unit? And that's just, it's nonstop. It's the same story. It doesn't matter who the author is, they're saying the same thing. So that leads me to believe that this Arkansas offense is going to be pretty damn exciting.
Yeah, and something
and iron sharpens iron. I think that's huge. Saban talks about that, with the left tackle. I can't remember which athletes he used, but when you got a All-American on one side and All-American on the other,
right.
I mean, it's making his defense better. It's making Arkansas's defense better if they're trying to stop a powerhouse offense like Arkansas is apparently putting together up there.
Right, and you mentioned All-American. They got one there just named preseason, Jalen Catalon, one of the best safeties in the country. So they got one of the premier players in the SEC going head-to-head with these corners. Man, I'm fired up to see me some Drew Sanders, and I just love the comments here of the continuity, the familiarity, knowing these players inside and out, and them knowing the system inside and out. I'm just fired up sitting here thinking about it. You know what?
Yeah, and that's kind of what Arkansas is about. It's a close-knit group. It's a team, brother. It is an absolute team. There is no division in that locker room, and you see it when you talk to players. You see it when you talk to the coaching staff.
Yep.
Here's another example: Coach Odom, kind of that parental figure. This isn't just student athletes. This is a kid that you're growing through one of their most influential times in development, because not all these kids are going to the NFL. There's going to be majority of them, doing something different for the rest of their life, and they're instilling those principles while they're on that campus, and I just love the message.
Yeah. All right, Shane. Next, let's kick it on down to College Station, where old Jimbo gave us the latest update on the Aggies. Shane, scheduling note. Hopefully, you Aggies are listening to this early. I'm scheduled to be on Texags at 9:00 in the morning on Friday. Now. So who knows what crazy thing I'll say on that show. But interesting, Shay. I don't know if you saw this, but it was about an hour ago. Chris Lowe, ESPN insider, he tweeted out, sounds like Haynes King is going to be the starting quarterback. I don't think he was necessarily reporting that, but that kind of the tea leaves. That's kind of what we said earlier in the week. So
right.
That's a little backstory there. They've got another scrimmage coming up to, how big will that play into it? That's what Jimbo talks about. And Fidel Diggs, who was named most improved defensive player in the spring, he's going to be stepping up after they lost so much elite talent on that defensive line to the NFL. Now Diggs is in line to be that next star for A&M on the defensive line and help all these 9 5-star linemen they got coming in there. And then the importance of the upcoming scrimmage. Let's kick it over to old Jimbo.
I think with this camera and mic set up, I may be most improved on this show. Are we handing out that trophy? Come on now.
Sure. All right, Shane. Hey.
You're the MVP, Mike, but I would say I'm most improved easily.
No doubt.
So I'll start off with, do you think you will know who your starting quarterback is after the scrimmage on this weekend?
I'll wait and see. I don't know. We'll see how the scrimmage goes and what goes on. You could not. I mean, like I say, we'll wait and evaluate that as we go. I'm not putting a timetable on it.
Is there a certain amount of time though that at some point that you
I'm not putting a timetable on it.
You could decide.
I'll know when I know.
And then I wanted to ask about a guy like, say, Bryce Foster, who for various reasons has had to miss some time, is there any amount of time that he would have to actually start completely working to where you'd feel like, all right,
he is working right now.
So he's at a point now where he could start the
he's
first
practicing,
game.
yeah. He's practicing right now and playing well.
Young as Fadil Diggs is, he really seems like he's a good leader for those even
Junior,
younger
he's
guys.
a junior.
Yeah, he still seems young to me, I guess, as an underclassman, right? Eligibility-wise, as a sophomore. But
yeah,
in any case,
3 years in.
Here's what I'm trying to get to. He still seems like a good leader for all these new young guys.
Really good
and how's
leader.
that group coming along?
Really good leader. I mean, he is a guy who works, says yes sir, no sir, and what else can I do, and always helping those young guys. You know what I mean? He's a great example for them as far as how to go about your business on a daily basis, as far as work ethic, technique, toughness, battle through things. I think he's doing an excellent job. You're right. You're whoever give you that information on what player he is, and I've said it, I know, but he is definitely a great example for how you want to play, the effort you want to play with, the physicality you want to play with, becoming a better technician, how he's rushing, he's being productive, and he's there every day. Every day. Can't say enough good things about him.
Coach to the left, Nicole.
Coach, what changes do you want to see after 2 weeks of practice going from last scrimmage to this scrimmage?
The same thing. I mean, eliminate, making sure our substitutions are better, make sure our alignments are better, make sure our splits are better, make sure our communications are better, then our execution is better. We take care of the ball. And, sometimes you can not have a turnover, and that's been, just a bad decision. Or sometimes there is a play that, you understand what you're trying to accomplish on every play, the knowledge of our calls, and also our situational football. Listen, plays are different based off down and distance, time on the clock, field position, what you're trying, the objective of every play is. And I think getting a greater grasp of that and understanding that on offense and defense. I'm not just talking about offense. I'm talking about defense. How and then what the defense is doing, what the offense is doing, our position, our formation recognition, our alignments. Reading offensive splits, our defensive people putting themselves in position to make better plays from a mental standpoint, and then finishing it out physically.
Well, hey, buddy, I mean, Jimbo, it was about a week ago. Everybody's, hey, we got the best team of all time. We got all these players. Now, Jimbo, he's kind of reeling it back in, isn't he? He's like, well, we don't got to name a quarterback. We don't know. We'll see, blah, blah, blah. But it's pretty interesting that, a lot of buzz with Haynes King, but you don't get much of that from the coaching staff down there, do you?
Right. No, and I mean, he wanted to shut this down before it gets started. He was pretty adamant that this is the end of the quarterback situation. So I don't know. I think they do announce somebody sooner than later, but I think it happens after the scrimmage. And I think going into this scrimmage, he maybe doesn't want it to get back to the players that he's got a guy, even though we probably know who it's going to be. That's the only thing I can get. I'm trying to, you're just kind of guessing at the hidden message here. But for as quick as Jimbo reacted on that question, that was my first thing, and kind of second thought on your approach there with the maybe they're just bringing back expectations. I don't know, man. I think you own it, and I mean I was more excited about Texas A&M 3 weeks ago than I am now after hearing comments like this. So let's build it, man. Let's play it. If it don't work out, then shit, we tried.
Yeah. No, I just think Jimbo is feeling very, very confident, and as camp goes along, you want to reel your players back in and get them locked in, because the last thing you want to do is be that team that opens the season with a poor performance, and then all of a sudden the season goes sideways on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, Shane, last item here. Let's kick it on down to Mississippi State, where Will Rogers met with the media here recently, and I just thought Hail State fans, they'd appreciate these comments, but it sounds like he's a lot more confident in his arm, a lot more confident in the system, which should scare the hell out of the rest of the SEC, considering he threw for damn near 5,000 yards last year. But potentially even more interesting, he's looking over all there on the defensive side of the ball, and they're saying, well, hell, these linemen are going to the NFL, these linebackers going to the NFL, you got secondary guys going to the NFL. It sounds like they are hyping up his defense more than we ever could on this show. So let's kick it over to Will Rogers real quick.
Even after 2 years as a starter, you're still just halfway through your career. What are you working on to get better right now?
Just consistency. I mean, I obviously want so many plays back from last year, but
this is a profession where you don't really get placed back, so you have to be ready to go in the moment. So, just trying to be consistent every single day.
What's it like going against that defense every day?
Yeah, pretty fun. Pretty fun. There's guys in your lap. The bullets are really flying in front of you. So, it's pretty wild. Coach Arnett does a great job. I love his scheme. I love how he gets his guys ready to play, and he's just a really big motivator for, especially the front seven. He just really gets those guys ready to go. And the bullets really start flying around.
I may be off on my observation here, and may be different when game time comes, but it seems like you trust yourself more throwing into tighter windows in camp so far, and you've had a lot of success doing that.
Yeah, it's my third year, going into my third year, so I kind of know the do's and don'ts and where to throw the ball and where not to most of the time. But it's something that I have to challenge myself to do. I think I've gotten stronger since I've been here. My arm's gotten a lot stronger. I'm more confident and things like that. So the more I can really maybe not force balls into tight windows, even though I might do that a time or two anyway. But if I can get the ball on guys downfield and get explosive plays, that's what we really want to do on offense.
Just a lot of shuffling on the offensive line for you guys, losing two big pieces. I guess, what have you thought of Dollar Bill and some of those other guys that have stepped in at tackle so far?
They've been tremendous. They've been awesome. They've come ready to work every single day. They haven't been perfect, but nobody has. Nobody on this earth is perfect. And it doesn't make it easier for them that Coach Arnett's throwing some pretty cool blitzes at them and things like that. But that's just going to make them better. And when we see things like that on Saturday, they're going to be able to pick it up. And they've been tremendous. They've really done a great job this fall.
What have you seen from Albert and kind of how it seems like they're talking about playing him at right guard, right tackle, two spots there. What do you see from him, his versatility and what he brings this season?
Yeah, he's been really good. Last year, he was the guy that came in, and you could tell he had the frame and everything like that. He just kind of had to learn his role, learn his spot on the offensive line. But yeah, he's taken a step. I'll say that. I'll be able to tell you a little bit more September 3rd. But he's taken a huge step, and I'm really excited for his future.
It's not just a complex defense. When you look at the first defense, even the second defense, you see guys who have a professional future there. How much better is that making this offense to go against those guys?
Yeah, no, they're very talented. They're very talented, and I wasn't around for 2018 when they had Jeff and Montez and Abram and some of those guys, but these guys are pretty good, so I probably wouldn't want to see those guys. These guys do a great job. Like I said, they fly around. Coach Arnett has a really, really good scheme where he can move them around. They're never just going to stand still. They're always going to be moving post-snap. So they do a really good job. They fly around and they make plays. But like you said, it just makes us better. We've grown so much. I think we've gotten even better since the last scrimmage. We'll find out this week. But, we're getting there.
All right, Chase. So, hey, what about it, man? You are the biggest Mississippi State homer out there. These types of comments have got to get you fired up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is more just confirmation for me. And the closer this is a team that's still not getting the buzz they deserve,
right?
Which I absolutely love it, especially if you're a gambler. If you jump on any gambling site right now, this is the perfect time to put your money on them Bulldogs because I'm telling you, these guys got it, and they're gonna surprise a lot of people, and a lot of people don't talk about. There's the sexy teams right now in the SEC, and it's the same chewed up garbage over and over again, But
Yeah.
there's a handful of SEC programs right now that is seriously about to. I think it's about to show us that the separation isn't like it used to be. And you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? We see a lot of Alabamas, and there's a gap between someone else, whether it be an LSU or whether it be a Georgia. And now we're seeing Georgia on top. Now we're seeing Alabama get beat by Texas A&M. Now we're seeing the Tennessee Volunteers put up 50 points a game. Now we're seeing Mississippi State, another team that's consistently going to bowl games now, being elevated with returning starters, and it's Ole Miss 10-win season. It's just the separation between the teams. I feel like it's not like it used to be, and that old saying, any given Saturday. I feel like it's going to be more important this year because, like I said, going into a game, there's going to be some matchups that you think you know who's going to win, but you're not really certain because, again, these programs are just getting better.
Yeah, and it just makes it's going to make for such an exciting season, and you throw in a home field advantage, and the best fans in the country just going AWOL on Saturday, drunker in hell, angry as hell. I mean, I cannot wait for this football season. And you talk, you're saying week to week, but even the entire season, like you could talk me into almost any team being 2 through 6 in either division. You know what I mean? Which to me, I don't know about you, Shane. It makes for an exciting, more anticipated season because I hate to death where we just kind of have it all solved in the preseason and it just goes according to plan. That ain't no fun, is it?
No. And now you can bring your own beer to Mississippi State games. I mean, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Well, hey, buddy, that is going to do it for this episode of the show. I don't have anything else for this week. Do you have anything before we hop off the line?
No, again, we're day 2 of videos. We didn't quite make a full video today, but I think by the time college football officially starts, Mike, we'll have it figured out. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm pumped up.
We are definitely in preseason mode over here.
Yeah, well, I'm watching the storied program with South Carolina. I got Hard Knocks. You got me onto that one again. I kind of drifted from Hard Knocks, but this one's actually pretty good. So I'm catching up on it. And then, anything football related. I mean, we just found out a fantasy football draft order. I got the 5th spot. Seems like a good one to mess up, So it's just all football all the time, and I love it, man. I just cannot get enough of it. So I appreciate everybody. It's taking the opportunity to hang out with us. I noticed there's a lot of new listeners. Welcome aboard. It's good to see the vets, sticking around and hanging out with us through thick and thin. So it's not unnoticed. But I appreciate everybody and their support because without them, we wouldn't be where we're at today, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope they stay with us as we grow together. Join us again for the Twitter Spaces tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. But that's all I got, buddy. I appreciate you. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right. See you guys. Go Vols.